S.O.S, the baseball team. So he may well know Tom Hicks from being connected with the MLB, the Major League Baseball league in the United States. Hicks, of course, did own the Texas Rangers. He had to sell them when he hit financial difficulties. So we think that he is the man behind the US bid. But it's important to bear in mind as well that we've had bids in the past, haven't we? In August, we had that frenetic fortnight when the bids were coming from left, right and centre. Kenny Huang, even the Chinese state were at one point thought to be in the running to buy Liverpool, and we had the Syrian businessman as well. Neither of those came to pass. Now we have two new bids, and it's important to bear in mind that treat all this news with a degree of suspicion and scepticism, because it is in certain people's interests, is it not, for us to believe that there are still bids on the table. Martin Broughton and Christian Purslow were brought in, especially Broughton, to sell the club. They haven't managed it yet, and so we have to treat all these leaks, and we're being briefed all the time by different sources connected with different bids. Until this club is sold, don't believe anything. And I think, but clearly, when statements are being issued by the club as they are tonight, then clearly that's not imaginary. That's definite. And it's civil war right now.
All right, Dan, just hang on for 2 minutes because I might need your encyclopedic knowledge if that's okay. James McKenna is with us from the Spirit of Shanker. James, good evening.
Good evening.
Now, we've spoke quite a few times on this subject. We'll take things in order. Just what do you make, first of all, of these developments tonight, of the current owners trying to remove two people from the Liverpool board?
Tonight's antics by Tom Hicks and George Gillette are the perfect reason for why they are not good for this football club, and only further serve to show how they are only interested in it for themselves, to make as much money as possible, to hang on for as long as possible, to bring every last dollar and dime out of this football club, and it just further shows the reason why we need to get shut off them as soon as possible.
Now, we'll move on to the bids in just a second, but are you one of those fans who would see the RBS take over Liverpool on the 15th of October rather than the Americans continuing?
We need Tom Hicks and George Gillette out of the football club. Tonight's actions just underline that even more. And we need RBS to, as Dan said there, to take responsibility. They're the key people involved in all of this, and they need to accept that they're responsible for that, and that they, I've got a key role to play in all of this, so that they need to begin to look at these solutions. And I think, as Dan said there as well, there must be some scepticism towards, well, this is just going to give RBS more time, so they need to use this time wisely.
And what do you make of the little that we know of the bids, James? One from Asia, one from the US, possibly the owner of the Boston Red Sox. What do you make of those?
Well, we're sceptical. We've been here before. We've been told there's potential bidders around the table. In the summer we were told there was 5 bidders. 2 went public and the other 3 seemingly disappeared, and the other 2 followed them. Not long after, we've been here before as Liverpool fans. Actions speak louder than words, and we'll believe it when we see it. But it's also important that if there are potential bidders around the table, that checks are done on them properly. We need the right next owner rather than any next owner, because if we end up with someone like Tom Hicks and George Gillette again, or someone who's worse, then the situation could be, increasingly difficult for Liverpool.
Therefore, you could face a situation where the RBS step in on October the 15th, take over the club, but then no satisfactory owner can be found in the short to medium term. Where does that leave Liverpool?
Then it leaves Liverpool Football Club in a very, very dangerous situation. I'm sure Royal Bank of Scotland are reluctant to take charge of Liverpool Football Club. And if they can't find a buyer, then they need to begin to look at other solutions. And we'd say to them, the other solution is us supporters, to sit down with us and engage with us about potential options, because it does need bringing to resolution sooner rather than later. And if someone doesn't want to buy Liverpool Football Club, then I'm sure the supporters will be queuing around the block to do so.
James McKenna, thank you very much indeed. Dan, cheers for tonight as well. Dan Roan there, who broke the story on 5 Live a good hour and a half ago. There will be further developments. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. We'll keep you abreast of them all here on the programme, and there'll be a full roundup on breakfast, of course, in the morning. You're listening to Tony Lives here on 5 Live. It's 18 minutes past 11.